let me take you through the concept. Let me close this. You can see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so my company is a digital PR company. What we do is we do research for our clients. We put together press releases and we work with the media to get our clients published. And the objective of the exercise, the reason they pay us, is to get backlinks and mentions in media. So we do all sorts of different research and analysis. We find really good angles and ideas, and then we work with media to pitch those ideas. And then media publish them, and then we track the results. So we can say to a client, we've got 3 backlinks, we've got 6 mentions, et cetera, et cetera. What I want to do is build an MVP structure in Notion that basically drives the workflow and collects data along the way. The longer term, and I need to work out what the MVP is. The longer term view is that we would do integrations with things like HubSpot and Slack and even Twilio. Not necessary today, but the idea is that if a client gets a mention, we put it into Notion, we record the backlink with a screenshot, etc., and then that would send them a Slack message, etc. Later down the track, it could do billing and so forth, but for now, we just want to work out an MVP. What I've done here on this screen, on the left-hand side, if we start over here, the idea is that we have a client, we collect some client data, client name, client description, etc., and then we have contacts underneath that. That's pretty straightforward, I think. So a client can have many contacts. Up here, we have the idea of publications. So it could be the New York Times. Publications have journalists, and they can have many journalists. The challenge with the journalists is that some journalists work for multiple publications. So a journalist needs to be related to more than one publication. And then we have this idea of specializations. So if we are doing a release and it's about cyber or it's about automotive, we want to be able to say this journalist does automotive, that journalist does automotive and boats. So we want a relationship. You'll also see on the right-hand side, we've got experts and we have panelists. The idea with experts is that we are often asked to go and get expert commentary by the journalist. They say we want an expert. So we need to be able to go in and say, we've written a story about automotive, let's find the expert we have related to automotive. So that specialization table is used for journalists, it's used for publications, it's used for experts, and it's also used for panelists. And panelists are people like you and me that might tell their story. So I have a story at the moment about real estate, and the journalist wants to talk to a renter in Sydney. So I need to be able to look at the specialization, real estate, see all of the panelists that are there, and say, okay, I can contact this person. We then have this, and this is sort of where it gets a little bit complicated, and I need to do some more work to visualize this. But the idea is that under each client, we develop ideas. This is a rough idea. We think that we've got some data, we think we've got an idea. And underneath that idea is research that we might have collected. So we build these two things up. So what's the idea, and then what's the data that we can find to support it? And there could be multiple bits of data. I need to flesh this one out. Fundamentally, though, and this is where it sort of happens, is that the way our business works is that we work in sprints, and a sprint is a month long. And so we might say to a client, we will do 2 releases per sprint. And releases, a release, when I say they're called releases, we don't actually, we actually put out angles. So the data might be the average Australian saves 500 hours a year using AI, and that's the data point. But then we would develop multiple angles for that, for different types of media. We might do one for human resources. We might do an angle for technology. We might do an angle for it. So because we're going to try and work with as many journalists to get the data published, different insights and angles. So we can use the same search for multiple angles. Once we pitch, we send these out, these angles, and I've got other screens to sort of describe this, but once we've developed the angles, we search for the journalists in the journalist table that I took you through. We find the journalists. Under journalist status, we want to be able to track what did they do? Did they reply to us? Did they ignore us? Did they run the story? And then we want to collect, underneath the angles, we want to collect the results. So the idea is that we found an angle, the journalist says, I'll run it, and then we want to be able to collect, here's the backlink, here's the screenshot, here's the mention. So we're collecting all of that data so that we can then report that to our client in due course. Here were the 4 angles we put out. Here were the results so that we can see which journals publish what backlinks do we get, etc. Now, I appreciate that this is very high level, but is this something you think is something you could achieve in Notion?
Yeah, Robert, I appreciate your point. You have mentioned briefly explain step-by-step roadmap already you have built in Miro. So yeah, I am using Notion last 4 years. So during this time, I have delivered 300 plus template for my client by directly through LinkedIn and etc. So here I am new. So I understand your point that is possible. So what we can do in Notion, like first of all, we will build the main dashboard where we will put a linked like build all databases step by step that you have mentioned in the Miro, and where we link database, build a relation, and put the like set up the database, include properties like name, client name, address, like link, resources, status, and etc. And we need to build automation, and we can integrate HubSpot, Twilio, Slack that you describe. Yeah, that makes sense, and we can build in Notion.
Okay, why don't that sounds good. Why don't I keep working? I'm not talking to anyone else. What I'm trying to work on are sort of screens as I see it. So for a client, the client's called NatureCan. They have a client code, they have a logo, they have a Notion header, they have a spokesperson headshot, they have a client description. I'll keep working on I've got an Excel file that has all the fields that I'm wanting to collect. And I will keep working on that, and I will share you a link later on with all of the detail to try and put it into a format that makes sense to you.
Perfect. Even Robert, you can send me Meru link with if you have outline in Google Docs, you can share with me that easily.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will do that. Leave it with me. I'll keep working on this over the next day or two, and then I will share it all with you, and then we can cost it up, size it up, and get going.
Perfect. Once you ready these all things, you can share with me. Then we will proceed further.
Excellent. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, most welcome. Nice to talk to you, Robert. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.